was a busy week for the House of Representatives as many committees met virtually to hear testimony, approve bills, and comb over gubernatorial budget requests. And a controversial measure was introduced by Monday. House Majority Leader Ryan Winkler sponsors House File 600, which would, in part, establish a regulatory framework for adult-use cannabis, move the medical cannabis program under the newly created Cannabis Management Board, and establish taxes on adult-use cannabis.
We are seeing in states across the country and even our neighbor in South Dakota that the issue of legalizing cannabis, creating a fair, regulated marketplace, addressing the deep inequities in our criminal justice system is a mainstream, bipartisan, broadly supported issue.
A sick and safe time proposal was before the House Labor, Industry, Veterans, and Military Affairs Finance and Policy Committee Tuesday. House File 7, sponsored by Representative Liz Olson, would require employers to provide workers at least 1 hour of health-related paid time off for every 30 hours worked.
We all know that everyone gets sick, and the coronavirus outbreak is one more reminder, an extreme one, that when people get sick, they should be able to stay home, not just for their own health or the health of a loved one, but for the health of all of us.
DFLers have proposed similar legislation in the past and have hit roadblocks. One of the criticisms of a sick and safe time proposal is the effect it could have on small businesses.
Most of the small business owners I know really do care for their people. So as a small business owner like I was, where I couldn't afford to do this for 9 years, how does that help me compete with the big box stores?
House File 7 was laid over and is expected to be acted upon by the committee at a later date. A proposal that has Governor Tim Walz's support to create a State Aid for Emergencies, or SAFE account, was approved as amended on a 9-7 party line vote Tuesday by the House Public Safety and Criminal Justice Reform Finance and Policy Committee. House File 445, sponsored by Committee Chair Carlos Mariani, would transfer $35 million from the general fund to the proposed SAFE account to help reimburse local communities for public safety overtime and staffing costs provided through mutual aid after significant critical incidents occur.
Members, House File 445 creates a state contingency fund similar to our present state disaster fund to reimburse local communities for providing needed public safety through mutual aid agreements in response to critical incidents of public assemblies. It could be other critical incidents as well that can overwhelm the resources of a single community.
The financial stress that some local law enforcement agencies felt after providing aid during last year's civil unrest is said to be one of the reasons for creating the SAFE account. However, some Republicans pushed back on the proposal.
And we want to make sure, obviously, that we don't see a repeat of the chaos and the riots that happened last summer. That is obviously a priority for us. However, our concern is that we really think the governor needs a little bit of a wake-up call here. $35 million is not going to magically solve the underlying problems.
If the City of Minneapolis Council proceeds with its plan to defund or abolish the police department, it puts the Minnesota taxpayers on the hook for those poor decisions. It also allows Minneapolis to escape responsibility for what they owe currently to the agencies in the response last summer.
House File 445 has been referred to the House Ways and Means Committee, where it is scheduled to be addressed Monday. In floor action, the House passed a proposal Thursday that would suspend the expiration of certain statutory deadlines that govern proceedings in district and appellate courts through April 15th. House File 114 passed 132-0 and was sent to the Senate. For more nonpartisan coverage of the Minnesota House of Representatives, check out our Session Daily coverage on the House website at house.mn/sessiondaily.